Myself is Dr. Pinkesh Suttaria, working as an assistant professor at Department of Chemistry, Bhavans College, Dapur. So today we are going to learn a new topic, that is name reaction under organic chemistry, that is US05CHE21. So now let us start with our syllabus. So this is our syllabus. In our syllabus we can find out this is the second chapter, or we can say second unit, a name reaction. Okay, that is reaction mechanism, in which you are having this 12 reaction, that is Birch reduction, Baeyer-Villiger oxidation, Mannich reaction, Wittig reaction, Somelt rearrangement, Beckmann rearrangement, Curtius rearrangement, Hofmann rearrangement, benzyl benzylic acid rearrangement, Favorsky, Perkin, and benzoin condensation. So now let us start with our first name reaction. So that is Birch reduction. So in any of the reaction, you have to remember just 3 points. First one, that is principle. Second one, that is mechanism. And third one, that is application. So this was the scientist who discovered the Birch reduction. So now let us start with its principle. In Birch reduction, aromatic rings are reduced to 1,4-diene by alkali metal in liquid ammonia. So that is the principle of Birch reduction. So for the knowledge point of view, you have to remember this thing, that when lithium or sodium metal dissolve in ammonia, they give intense blue color. Now this blue is the color of the solvated electrons. These group 1 metals ionize to give lithium plus or Na plus and electron minus. With time, the blue color fades as the electron reduce the ammonia to NH2 minus and H2. Birch reduction use this blue solution with their solvated electrons as a reducing agents. The reduction of NH3 to NH2 minus and H2 is quite slow and better electron acceptor as a preference. So now let us understand its mechanism. So here we are using Na. So Na will give a Na plus and electron minus by means of oxidation. Okay, so now this electron minus will attack one of the pi bond. So this pi bond will be broken down, or we can say this will migrate over here and this will migrate over here. So one of the electron, that is pi bond, will form a negative charge on the benzene ring, and this electron, free electron, will attach over here. So here we are having a negative charge as well as the free radical. Now here we are using a C2H5OH. Now by the protonation of C2H5O minus and H plus, this H plus will attach over here. So here we are having hydrogen and hydrogen and one free radical. Again we are attacking, that is Na will give Na plus and electron minus. Now this electron minus will attack over here. So there are two free radicals. As we know, these two free radicals will make a negative charge. Okay, again we are using a C2H5OH. This H plus will attach over here. So here we are getting 1,4-dihydrobenzene. Starting from here, that is 1, 2, that is 3 and 4. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1,4-dihydrobenzene. So here you can see that there are 3 pi bonds that are converted into the 2 pi bonds. So one of the pi bond will be broken down, or we can say that is reduced. Now let us understand its another application. So in Birch reduction you can find out regioselectivity. So now what is regioselectivity? Particular region. So the position of protonation on substituted benzene depend on the nature of the group, that is illustrated below. Here we are having electron withdrawing group such as nitro group, COOH group, etc. Now when it undergoes a Birch reduction, in the presence of sodium, liquid ammonia and C2H5OH, it will form a 1,4-dihydrobenzene. But one of the most important thing you have to remember that this electron withdrawing group will be attaching towards the sp3 carbon. So this is sp3 carbon. So now whenever we are having electron donating group, like suppose OCH3, CH3 group, etc. Now at that time it will undergoes a Birch reduction. Here electron donating group will be attaching towards the sp2 carbon. So now this is the main difference of electron donating group as well as electron withdrawing group. In electron withdrawing group, here we are having sp3 carbon, here we are having a sp2 carbon, that is sp3 and this is sp2. Now let us understand by its mechanism. Suppose if we are having a benzoic acid, now when it is reacted with the sodium, so what will happen? As we know that COOH group, that is electron withdrawing group, it will withdraw electron from the ring. So now when this electron will attack over here, this will migrate over here, this will make a negative charge. So here we are having a negative charge and this is our free radical. By the resonance you can produce here free radical. Here we are having a free radical. Now as we know the protonation that is attack occur by ethanol. So here H plus will attack over here. So here we can get a hydrogen and free radical. Now again when we are using a sodium, it will have a negative charge. Then after by the following reaction with the ethanol, you can produce a hydrogen over here. But one of the most important thing you have to remember that this COOH group will be attaching towards the sp3 carbon. So that is our main purpose. So now when we are having a OMe or any other CH3 group, or we can say the electron donating group, now this electron will attack over here, this will migrate over here, this will make a negative charge over here. Again we are having a free radical as well as the negative charge. Now this will attack by the ethanol, so you can have a hydrogen over here. Again we are having a free radical that is undergoes a Na plus electron minus, that will have a negative charge over here. Then after by the reaction of ethanol, it will have a hydrogen. So now here we are having a OMe group. Now this OMe group will be attaching towards the sp2 carbon. So now this is the most important thing you have to remember, that in Birch reduction the electron withdrawing group will attach towards the sp3 carbon, whereas in electron donating group it will attach towards the sp2 carbon. So this is sp3 carbon and this is sp2 carbon. Now let us understand one more example for the Birch reduction. So this is the most important thing you have to remember for the Birch reduction for alkyne. Suppose if you are having alkyne group, now when it is reacted with the sodium NH3 and C2H5, it will undergoes a reduction. It will produce a trans alkene. Now this trans alkene, I will explain you by its mechanism. Suppose if you are having alkene group, this will goes down over here, that is having a positive charge and negative charge. Now this positive charge will be attacked by the electron. So here we can produce a free radical. This is our negative charge. Now here we are having NH3. NH3, as we know that we are having NH2 minus and H plus. Now this H plus will attach over here. So this H plus will attach over here. Here we are having a free radical. So now this free radical will be attacked by the electron. So here we can have a two free radical that will combine together. They will form a negative charge. Again, when we are having a NH3 molecule, now this NH3 molecule we are having NH2 minus and H plus. So now H plus will attach over here. So here we can produce a trans alkene. Okay, you have to remember this thing. So this is a special application of Birch reduction. When you are having alkyne group, it is converted into the transalkene. One another most important application of Birch reduction, that dissolving metal reduction of enones gives enolate regio specifically. Suppose if we are having a ketone and alkene group, okay, now when it is reacted with the lithium NH3 and ROH, so it will reduce this double bond. So here we are having a hydrogen and hydrogen. So now this is known as Birch reduction application. So now let us understand more application of Birch reduction. Suppose if we are having a naphthalene ring, now when it is reacted with the sodium NH3 at minus 78 degrees Celsius in presence of ethanol and AT2O. So now here we are having a 5 double bond, it is 3 plus 2, 5 double bond. So now this 5 double bond reduced to the 3 double bond. Okay, so now again we are having a benzoic acid that I will explain you further. This is the OCH3 group. You just have to remember that by the reduction of Birch reduction, this COOH group will be attaching towards the sp3 carbon, and this is electron donating group. This will be attaching towards the sp2 carbon. Now when we are reacting with the H3O plus, so what will happen? This in a condition of mild acid, so it will reduce this double bond. So here we are having a double bond over here. Now when we are having a H3O plus strong, so what will happen? So this C double bond O, this lone pair of electron will travel over here, this will undergoes over here, and this double bond will be reduced. So here we are having a 1 2 3 4. Okay, so this is alpha beta unsaturated, you can say the ketonic group. Okay, so now here in a strong condition you can produce this type of intermediate, in a mild condition you are having this type of product. Now let us understand some more example of the Birch reduction. So now in Birch reduction, suppose if we are having two donating group like CH3 CH3, again one double bond will be reduced over here. So here we are having a naphthalene derivative with the CH3 group. Both are having a electron donating group that is attached towards the sp2 carbon. This is our sp2 carbon. So now let us take one more example, that is NN-dimethylaniline. Now this NN-dimethylaniline, when it undergo the NaNH3 in the presence of ethanol, this double bond will be broken down. Here again we are having electron donating group that is attached towards the sp2 carbon. Now what happen if we are having electron donating group and withdrawing group? This is electron withdrawing group and this is electron donating group. So now at that time you have to remember that Birch reduction follow the electron withdrawing concept. Okay, so now this electron withdrawing group will be attached towards the sp3 carbon and this will attach towards the sp3 carbon. In spite of this is a electron donating group, but when we are having electron withdrawing group, this electron donating group will favor to the electron withdrawing group. Okay, so now suppose if we are having both, that is the OCH3 and CH3 group, both are having electron donating characteristics. So what will happen? So here we are having a OCH3 group. Now this OCH3 group will attach towards the sp2 carbon, as well as this CH3 is also attaching towards the sp2 carbon. Now when we are having a pyridine compound, now this pyridine compound will be converted into this type of compound, that is one double bond will be reduced over here. Here we are having NH. Now if I reacting with this molecule with the H3O plus, what will happen? This will be broken down. So NH3 will be removed. Here we are having a dicarbonyl compound. Now this is the special application. You have to remember this thing. When we are having NaSG, okay, in the presence of tertiary butanol, it will reduce one pi bond. Now here we are having 3 plus 2 5, 5 plus 2 7. Here we are having 3 plus 3, that is 6. So this double bond will be reduced. Okay, So now this double bond will be reduced by the help of the Birch reaction. So this is all we can say about the Birch reaction. Now let us understand one more reaction, that is Baeyer-Villiger oxidation. So the scientist called Baeyer and this is Villiger. Okay, Villiger. So now they have invented this reaction, that is Baeyer-Villiger oxidation. So now let us understand its principle. So the Baeyer-Villiger oxidation is used to oxidize ketone to ester by using peroxy acid. Suppose if we are having a ketonic molecule like this, when it is reacted with the H2O2 or we can say the per acid, it will convert it into the ester compound, that is RC double bond O R dash. Now the Baeyer-Villiger rearrangement is a regioselective reaction. In above cases, the R dash group is assumed to possess a greater migratory attitude and hence only one product is formed predominantly. Here we have to remember that this reaction involves the oxidative cleavage of CC bond. There are various types of Baeyer-Villiger reagent. One of the most important thing of the reagent, that is MCPBA, that is metachloroperbenzoic acid. Second one, that is peroxyacetic acid. Third one, peroxy trifluoroacetic acid, hydrogen peroxide, BF3, Carros acid, Baeyer-Villiger monooxygenase, also known as BVMO. So these are the Baeyer-Villiger, what we can say, reagent. Now let us understand its mechanism. Suppose if we are having RC double bond O R dash, now this H plus will attack towards this minus charge. Why? Because due to the mesomeric effect, oxygen pull the electron from the carbon. So carbon which is having a positive charge, like here, now oxygen which is having a negative charge. Now H plus will attach towards the negative charge of the oxygen. So here we are having R, C positive, R1 and OH. Now when we are treating with this molecule with the per acid, in per acid, that is R2, C, oxygen, oxygen and OH. Now this is having a negative charge and H plus. So now what will happen? This negative charge of oxygen will attack towards the positive charge. So here I am writing this molecule like this, like say suppose R1, here we are writing R1, this is OH group, this is OH group, here we are having R group, this is our R group and this is C. Now from here, that is oxygen, oxygen and C double bond O and R2. Now what will happen? So here this oxygen bond will be broken down. As we know, this is oxygen which is having a lone pair of electron will attack over here. This will goes down over here. So this will cut over here. So now which is having a, what we can say, if this bond is broken down, this oxygen become electron deficient. So what will happen? One of the R group will migrate towards the oxygen. So now this is a deficient and this is a sufficient atom. So now this sufficient carbon will travel towards the deficient atom, that is oxygen. So this is known as C2O migration. You have to remember this thing. This is a C2O migration. Okay. So now this is our byproduct. So like say R2 C double bond O, O minus. So now what will happen over here? Here the R1 group will migrate over the oxygen. So that is why carbon now will become a deficient. So here I am putting over here a positive charge. So this is OH. Here we are having R, oxygen and R1. So now in the next step, this H plus will be removed from the reaction material. So H plus will leave the negative charge over here. So this positive and negative charge will make a bond over here. So this is our bond, that is R, C double bond O, oxygen and R1. Okay, so now this is our ester molecule. So this is our product. Now this H plus will attack over here, so it can produce a acid molecule. Now if I further reacting this molecule with the help of the H2O, what will happen? It will convert it into the acid as well as the alcohol. So it will cut down over here. Here we are having H plus and here we are having OH minus. So that is acid plus alcohol. So this is the mechanism of Baeyer-Villiger oxidation. Okay, so now suppose here we are having two different type of R group. So now what will happen? So at that time you have to remember this sequence. That is, the sequence will follow like this: tertiary alkyl, cyclohexyl, secondary alkyl, benzyl, aryl, primary alkyl and methyl group. Okay, so this sequence you have to remember when we are having R and R dash, both are different. At that time, you have to migrate first, which is having a higher priority, that is migratory aptitude. So now let us understand its mechanical application. Suppose if we are having a chiral center, this is our chiral center, four different group. This is first, second, third and fourth. Now, when we are eating with the MCPBA, this is metachloroperbenzoic acid. So now this metachloroperbenzoic acid will not affect this chiral center. Whatever happen, here we are producing or here we are inserting this oxygen over here. Okay, by the removal of the acid molecule. So now this oxygen atom or insertion of oxygen will not disturb any stereochemistry of this molecule. So it will remain as it is. So that is why it is very much important as point of view of the stereochemistry, that is MCPBA. Now let us understand one of the most important example of Baeyer-Villiger oxidation. In examination you can find out this example, that is cyclopentanone. When it is reacted with the MCPBA or any reagent of Baeyer-Villiger, it will produce a lactone. Now what is lactone? If we are having a cyclic ester, so this is a cyclic ester molecule. Okay, C double bond O, oxygen, and this is linkage. So this is known as cyclic ester. Now this cyclic ester is known as a lactone. Lactones, if there are 3-member lactone, then it is known as alpha lactone. If we are having a 4-member lactone, then it is known as beta lactone. If we are having 5-member lactone, then it is known as gamma lactone. If we are having 6-member lactone, that is known as delta lactone. If we are having 7-member lactone, then it is known as delta plus 1 lactone. Here we are having a 6-member lactone, so that is why it is known as delta lactone. Now when it is reacted, now this is end of the Baeyer-Villiger, but in examination if you are asking when it is reacted with the lithium aluminum hydride, what will happen? So this linkage will be broken down over here. So this will produce a OH over here and this is produced OH over here. So that is the reduction of the lactone. Now let us understand more example. Here we are having a aldehyde group. This is our CH3 group. When it is reacted with the trifluoroacetic acid or trifluoropropionic acid, what will happen? So now this trifluoroacetic acid will insert one oxygen over here. So here we are having oxygen, C double bond O and hydrogen. Now when it is reacted with hydrolysis, what will happen? So this linkage will be broken down. Here we are having a hydrogen plus and here we are having OH. So it will produce a formic acid by the removal of the formic acid. Here we are producing a OH group. Suppose if we are having this type of compound, let's say Br over here, Cl over here, here we are having a CHO group. So now when it is reacted with the metachloroperbenzoic acid in presence of dichloromethane, so now this will converted into the CHO group, that is converted into the C double OH group. So this is Baeyer-Villiger. Earlier I have explained you the 5-member lactone. Here we are having a 6-member ketone when it is reacted with the trifluoroacetic acid. Okay, so now it will convert into the 7-member lactone. Now as we know, 7-member lactone, that is known as delta plus 1 lactone. Okay, so let us understand more example, that is a ketonic group. Here we are inserting oxygen atom. Simple. If you are finding a ketonic linkage, when we are treating with the MCPBA, you have to just insert the oxygen. Acid will be removed as a byproduct. Now when we are having a cyclic compound, now this cyclic compound will converted into the one extension, or we can say the what we can say, that is the extension of the ring. That is a 4-member ring that is converted into the 5-member ring. Now let us understand one of the bicyclic compound. Suppose if we are having this type of compound, one bicyclic compound, here we are having C double bond O and CH3 group. Now when it is reacted with the metachloroperbenzoic acid, it will inserted over here, okay, oxygen. Now when I reacted with the lithium hydroxide, this linkage will be broken down. Here we are having H plus and here we are having OH minus. So that is CH3 C double OI, that is the acetic acid by the removal of the byproduct. Okay, so now let us take one more example. Suppose if we are having bicyclic compound ketonic over here, so this is our endo product, okay, endo insertion. Okay, so now this endo insertion, or we can say the exo product or endo product, I have already told in my video. You can watch over there, exo and endo attack. Okay, now when we are reacting with the aqueous KOH in presence of CO2, what will happen? This linkage will be broken down over here. This linkage will be broken down over here. So here we are having OH, and that is converted into the CH2 C double OH. So this is CH2, not C double OH. That is CH2 C double OH. Here you can write down over here CH2 C double OH, and here we are having OH. Both are having a similar direction, so that will undergoes a CH2 C double OH and OH. Suppose if you are having a benzene compound with the help of the C double bond O, that is a ketonic group over here, when it is reacted with the CF3CH3OH, that is a trifluoroacetic acid. So now as we know that the cyclic ring, that is the cyclopentanone, that is converted into the 6-member ring, that is known as a delta electron. Okay, now here we are having a 6-member ketone, okay, that is converted into the 7-member ketone, that is known as delta plus 1 electron. So this is all we can say about the Beer-Villiger. There are a few more examples of the Beer-Villiger oxidation. Suppose if we are having a ketonic group over here, now when it is reacted with the H2SO5, here we are inserting a double bond over here, that is a double bond over here. Here we are having oxygen, so here we are inserting oxygen over here. Okay, why not here? Because of the steric hindrance. Okay, this steric hindrance, that is why we are inserting this oxygen over here. Here we are not inserting this oxygen because of the steric hindrance. Suppose if we are having this type of compound, so just we have to insert the oxygen over here. Now let us understand one of the most important thing in Beer-Villiger oxidation, that is the comparison of two reagents, that is H2O2 hydrogen peroxide and second one, that is MCPBA. Now before I am going to explain these two reagents, you have to remember two important terms in organic reaction, that is the hard side and soft side. So when we are reacting with this molecule, suppose if we are having this molecule, that is ketonic group, that is known as hard side. Now this is our soft side. Now when we are reacting with this molecule, suppose if we are reacting with this H2O2 molecule, now this H2O2 molecule, it is a soft reagent, so it will attack towards the soft side. Okay, now MCPBA, it is a hard reagent, it will attack towards the hard side. Okay, you have to remember that hard, soft, acid base concept, that is the hard side and soft side. So this is our hard side, that is electron withdrawing group. This is our soft side, electron donating group. Now this is our soft reagent, so it will attack toward the soft side, and this is our the what we can say hard reagent, it will attack toward the hard side. So H2O2 will attack over here, it will form a epoxide, so this is our epoxide. Now MCPBA will expand this ring and it will form a 6-member electron. Okay, so now this 6-member electron, it is known as delta electron. So this is our application part of the Beer-Villiger oxidation. Okay, I hope you like this Beer-Villiger oxidation. Beer-Villiger oxidation, it is the most important name reaction as far as the exam point of view. Now let us understand one more reaction, that is Favorsky rearrangement. Now this Favorsky rearrangement, that was discovered by this gentleman, that is Favorsky. Okay, now let us understand the principle. The treatment of alpha haloketone with the alkoxide gives an ester product. In this reaction, the product has rearranged carbon skeleton but the same number of carbon atom as the reactant. This reaction is known as Favorsky rearrangement. Now, this is our ketonic part. In alpha position, you are having a halogen. That is why it is known as alpha haloketonic compound. So, this is our alpha haloketonic compound. Now, when it is reacted with the ethanol and sodium ethoxide, it will convert it into the ester molecule, that is C double bond OR. So, now let us understand by its mechanism. Suppose if you are having a alpha haloketon, as we know that ketonic group, this is our ketonic group. Okay, now adjacent to the ketonic group there is an active methylene group. Now when it is reacted with the base, it will accept one proton over here. So this proton will be removed over here. So proton will leave the negative charge over here. So now this negative charge will attach toward the CX bond. So here we are having a chlorine atom. As we know that chlorine atom, it is electron negative as compared to the carbon. So it will pull electron from the carbon. So this is having a negative charge, this is having a positive charge. So now this positive charge will attack towards the negative charge. This negative charge will attack towards the positive charge. So now what will happen? So it will produce a two ring, one that is a 3-member ring and second one that is a 5-member ring. Now here we are reacting with the OR minus. Now this OR minus will attack over here. This will goes down over here. So here we are having oxygen minus and OR. So now what will happen? This oxygen minus will falls down over here. It will make a double bond. So now the carbon valency will be disturbed. So now it will have a falls down over here. So it will have a negative charge. This bond will be broken down. Now this negative charge will be attacked by this proton, that is BH. Here we are having a BH. Now this BH will attack towards the negative charge. So it will produce a CH2 over here. So here we are having a C double OR. So now this is our Favorsky rearrangement. Further you can also treat with the hydrolysis. So it can produce a acid molecule. Okay. So now let us understand more example of the Favorsky rearrangement. Suppose if you are having a 7-member alpha haloketon, this is a 7-member alpha haloketon. So now what will happen? This will convert it into the 6-member of acid. Okay. So now how it is created acid? Here we are having alpha haloketon, that is a 6-member alpha haloketon that is converted into the 5-member of ester molecule. Further it is reacted with the hydrolysis. It will convert into the acid molecule. Here we are having a 7-member of alpha haloketon that is converted to the 6-member of acid molecule. Okay, now let us understand Favorsky rearrangement by the geminal and vicinal dihaloketon. Now let us understand what is geminal and vicinal. Now geminal and vicinal. So in geminal, when we are having a similar type of group, that is Br and Br, if it is attached to the same carbon, then it is known as geminal dihaloketon. Now when we are having a similar group that is attached towards the different carbon atom, then it is known as vicinal dihaloketon. Now let us understand its mechanism. Now when it is reacted with the base, what will happen? One of the proton will be removed, that is accepted by the base. So here we are generating a negative charge. So now this negative charge will attach towards the carbon. Why? Because as we know, this is a CX bond. So X will pull the electron from the carbon. So now carbon which is having a positive charge. So now it will generate a 3-member transition state. So this is our 3-member transition state. Now what will happen? Here we are treating with the OR minus. So due to the mesomeric effect, this is having a positive charge, this is having a negative charge. This will attack over here. So here we are having oxygen negative charge. So now this is oxygen negative charge. So now this negative charge will attack over here. This falls down over here and this Br will be removed over here. So I am writing over here. Look at over here. This is R group. This is our R group. This is our CH group. This is our CH group. Okay. Now this is again CH group. So this is our CH group. So By the removal of the Br, you can produce a double bond over here. So this is our double bond. So now this is a C double bond O and OR. So this is our C double bond O and OR. So here we are producing a alpha and beta unsaturated ester compound. So this is our alpha beta unsaturated ester compound. Now let us understand vicinal mechanism. Suppose when we are reacting with the same, that is Na plus and OR minus. So what will happen? One of the proton will be removed from here. So here we are having a negative charge. Okay, so now this negative charge will attack over here. So this will leave from the reacting material. So it will have a transition state over here. So now this OR minus will attack over here. This will fall down over here. There is oxygen minus charge. Okay, so now here we are having a similar type of intermediate that will undergoes and that will follows alpha beta unsaturated ester compound. So in that way, in reaction mechanism, you can learn that in geminal or vicinal dihaloketone, when we are reacting with the sodium methoxide, it will produce a similar type of product, that is alpha beta unsaturated ester compound. Okay, so now this alpha beta unsaturated ester compound. So now let us take one more example of the name reaction, that is Wittig reaction. That is our fourth name reaction. Okay, so now this Wittig reaction that was discovered by George Wittig. Okay, this is our George Wittig, scientist. The Wittig reaction or Wittig olefination is a chemical reaction of an aldehyde or ketone with the triphosphonium ylide. So now let us understand what is ylide. Okay, so ylide is a neutral dipolar molecule. Dipolar means positive negative charge. Okay, H2O, H plus and OH minus, that is a dipolar compound. So now it containing a formally negative charge atom, usually a carbanion, directly attached to the heteroatom. Heteroatom means oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, or what we can say the halogen, which is having a lone pair of electron, that is known as heteroatom. Now with a formal positive charge, usually nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfurous. Okay, now in which both atoms have full octet of electron. The result can be viewed as a structure in which two adjacent atoms are connected by both covalent as well as the ionic bond. That is, normally we can write down a X positive and Y negative. That is 1, 2 adjacent, a positive negative charge. So now this Wittig reaction, it is also known as p-ylide reaction. So let us understand by its principle. So here we are having a triphenyl phosphine compound. When it is reacted with this halogenated compound in presence of this ketonic compound, what will happen? This ketonic group and halogen will be removed from the reaction material, and here we are producing a alkene group, or what we can say the olefin molecule, by the removal of the triphenyl phosphine oxide. Okay, now let us understand by its mechanism. So when this phosphorus in a nitrogen family, we are having a phosphorus, okay, which is also having a one lone pair of electron. Oh, so this lone pair of electron will attack over here. Because of the CX bond, the X will pull electron from the carbon. So carbon, which is having a positive charge, and oxygen X is having a negative charge. This phosphorus will attack over here. So here we are having a pH3 P positive. Here we are having hydrogen R1 and R. Okay, so now here, that is a base. In presence of base, this hydrogen will be removed from the reaction material. So here we are producing a double bond. So now this double bond will attack towards this ketonic compound. So now what will happen? So here we are producing a puckered structure, or we can say the transition state. This is the irreversible, or we can say the concerted mechanism. Concerted mechanism means a one-step reaction mechanism. So now here we are having R2, R3 and double bond O, that is our ketonic group, and this is our R2, R1, that is R2 and R1, R1 and R, and we are having double bond PPH3. So now it will undergoes a 2+2 cycloaddition reaction. Now what is 2+2 cycloaddition reaction? here we are having a 2 pi electron, here we are also having a 2 pi electron. They will form a 2 plus 2 cycloaddition reaction. So by that way you can have this type of intermediate. So here we are having a PPH3 oxygen, here we are having R2 and R3, R and R1. So now this is from the phosphine compound and this is from the ketonic compound. So now what will happen? Here we are having oxygen which is having a lone pair of electron. So now this lone pair of electron will travel over here, so you can have a P double bond O, that is the phosphinium oxide. So this is having this this bond will falls down over here. So here we can produce a double bond. So by that way you can produce olefin by the reaction of halogenated compound as well as the ketonic compound in the presence of the P elide. Okay, so now what is P elide? Here we are producing a P elide. What is P elide? Now phosphorus which is having a positive charge, and carbon which is having a negative charge. Suppose if I am put down over here, suppose if I am putting over here, there is a positive charge over here, this is negative charge. There is a 1 2. Okay, here we are having heteroatom that is attached towards the carbon anion, so that is known as elide. So here positive charge on the phosphorus, that is why it is known as P elide. Okay, that is known as P elide. Okay, you should not confuse about the yield and elide. Yield, that is on a practical perspective. Yield, that is the percentage purity we are doing in the practical. So elide, that is a different thing, and yield, that is a different thing. You have to remember the spelling. Okay, now let us understand more example of the Wittig reaction. Suppose if we are having a ketonic compound over here, this is the phosphorus. Okay, now here we are having a phosphorus which is having a positive charge, this is having a negative charge. So now you just have to remember whatever the group that is attached towards the positive charge, that will attack towards this compound. So this oxygen will be removed, it will produce a phosphinium oxide, and this CH2 group will attack over here. So here we are producing a olefin. So here in the next reaction, here we are having PCH2COOC2H5. So now this CH2COOC2H5 will attach over here. So that is C double bond CH, and here we are having COOC2H5. So this is our Wittig reaction. Here we are having two aldehyde group. Okay, this is our two aldehyde group. So this is our elide compound, that is a P positive and CH negative. So what will happen? This oxygen and oxygen will be removed by this intermediate. So this will goes down over here by the byproduct. So now this CH and CH will attach over here. So this is our CH and CH. Now this CH and CH will attach over here. So this will attach over here. So we can produce a 8-member ring. So this is our 8-member ring. Okay. So now this is our 8-member ring, what we can say as a cyclooctane compound. Okay. So now this is a Wittig reaction. Okay. So now Wittig reaction. In Wittig reaction, that is P elide compound, or what we can say in examination you can ask a question like this. In Wittig reaction, the intermediate, or what we can say the intermediate followed by P elide, S elide, N elide, or carbanion, carbocation. So you have to choose one of them, that is P elide. Okay, now let us understand, that is the fifth reaction. Okay, Mannich reaction. So now Mannich reaction, this is the scientist who discovered this reaction, Carl Mannich. Okay, Carl Mannich, who discovered the Mannich reaction. So now let us understand by its principle. The principle said that compound containing at least one active hydrogen from what? Ketone, nitroalkane, beta ketoester, beta cyanoacid, etc. condense with the formaldehyde or primary. Okay, this is primary. This is primary or secondary amine. Okay, or ammonia to give the product as known as Mannich base, and this is called as Mannich reaction. Suppose if we are having secondary amine, when we are having formaldehyde and it is reacted with the ketonic compound, what will happen over here? So here the hydrogen from here, oxygen from here, and one of the hydrogen from here. Okay, so now what will happen over here? So here we are producing R and R. Okay, this is our R and R. C double bond O, oxygen removed from here. So R, here we are having a CH2. H will remove from here. So here we are having R1, C double bond O and R2. So now this compound, it is known as Mannich base. Okay, so now let us understand by its mechanism. So suppose if we are having a formaldehyde. Now formaldehyde, as we know, this is having a lone pair of electron, oxygen. So that is attacked by the H plus. So here we are having a hydrogen, oxygen, which is having a positive charge because of the 3 valency. Here we are having a secondary amine. Now this lone pair of electron will attack towards the positive charge of the carbon. So here we are producing R and R and OH group over here. Here we are having a hydrogen. Okay, this is R and R. This is R and R. Here we are having a carbon, OH and H. So now when it is reacted with the H plus again, it will produce a OH2 because of the lone pair of electron. Again we are having a positive charge on the oxygen atom. It is not stable. You have to remember this thing also, that positive charge, negative charge in organic chemistry, they are not stable. Okay, so now what will happen? This lone pair of electron will travel over here. This will leave from the reacting material. So here we are producing R and positive R and double bond CH2. This CH2 group. Okay, so now this is our first part. Now in second part, we are taking as a ketonic compound, that is R1 CH2 C double bond O R2. So now when it is reacted with the H plus, now here we are producing a H plus, that is ketoenol formation, O minus H plus, and this double bond will migrate over here. So this double bond will migrate over here. So here we are having R1 CH double bond CH, oxygen, hydrogen and R2. So now what will happen? So now this is having a lone pair of electron, it will migrate over here. So this double bond will migrate over here. So this bond will have a negative charge over here. Okay, so it will neutralize over here. Here we are having a positive charge. So here we are having a negative charge. Positive negative charge will neutralize nitrogen. Again, nitrogen having a lone pair of electron. So now I am writing down over here R and nitrogen, that is R. Here we are having a CH2 group, that is a CH2 group over here. So here we are having again CH linkage, that is attached towards the R1, that is attached towards the C double bond O, and this is our R2. So this is our Mannich base compound. So this is our Mannich reaction. So now let us understand some of the application of the Mannich base reaction. Suppose if we are having a CH3 and C double bond O over here, when it reacted with the CH2O, that is formaldehyde, now here we are having NH2, that is positive charge, CH3 twice, Cl minus. So now what will happen? So here we are having a hydrogen, so there is ketone, hydrogen from here, oxygen from here and hydrogen from here. Okay, NH, not H2. Okay, this is H2, H, that is only H. Okay, so here we are having a CH2, here we are having a N. Okay, hydrogen will be removed from here, so that is CH2 from here, nitrogen from here and CH3 twice over here. So here we are producing a Mannich base. Okay, suppose if we are having a OH group, that is a phenolic compound, when we are reacting with the HCHO, so this is our formaldehyde molecule. When it is reacted with the dimethyl aniline, okay, dimethyl amine compound, not aniline, dimethyl amine compound. So now what will happen? This OH group, okay, so here we are having hydrogen, oxygen from here and hydrogen from here. So hydrogen from here, oxygen from here and hydrogen from here, H2O will be released. So here we are having a CH2 group from the formaldehyde and nitrogen and CH3. So now this is our Mannich base. Again, if we are having acetylene compound, that is benzene, and here we are having C triple bond CH. Okay, hydrogen from here, oxygen from here and hydrogen from here, H2O will be removed. You have to just join the compound and uh, say this is our managed base compound. So now this is our managed reaction. One more example from the managed reaction. Suppose if we are having a indole type of structure, that is CH3 twice NH, okay, secondary amine. Here we are having a formaldehyde molecule. So now what will happen? So here this is the hydrogen, that is the active side. Okay, lone pair of electron will travel over here. This will goes down over here. So here we are having a hydrogen minus charge, and produce a minus charge over here. So here we can attack over it, that is hydrogen from here, oxygen from here, and nitrogen from here, hydrogen from here. So now let us condense this molecule, CH2 group over here, and here we are having NCH3 CH3. So now this is known our managed base reaction. Okay, so now